Why is the KO4 Turbo upgrade a better option over the factory IHI Turbo on the V8 2-liter turbo platform? Let's get right into it.
So right off the bat, with these housings, you can see on the factory IHI JH5 Turbo, it has this lip on the outside and it's pretty flat. Once the turbo blade is in there, it doesn't give very much room for the boost to make it in here and circulate through the housing. Now on this JHM KO4R turbo upgrade, this lip is moved to the inside, kind of centered of the whole housing here, versus this one being on the outside, you can see. And so all the boost has to make its way around this bevel. Right here is where the edge of the blade would sit. Right here would sit right along through here, and the boost has to creep its way over this flange on the inside to make it around and actually go to the intercooler. And on this one, it is a much wider hole, as you can obviously see, compared to this one here, which is not nearly enough room to be a high flow turbo or a good efficient flowing turbo. This one here has a big provision cut in it, and you can actually see on the inside of the housing where how much more room really it has for the blade and the boost to go right past here. The blade sits on this housing on the KO4R from JHM, and it's a bigger wheel. It's a billet aluminum wheel, obviously, over the cast factory wheel. And these fins here, you can see they stick out quite a bit right here at the edge, and these do not. These are clipped to where they do not protrude very much at all, but these stick out quite a bit, which sticks out into here just a bit, and you can actually see these blades right here from the inside of this housing. So it's a much more direct flow, a lot less surface area for it to try to jump over here, and just a much more high efficient design. It definitely is a little bit different than the factory option, even though they're technically the same housing design. It is just a higher flow design, much better, much more direct. And coming back over here to these blades, this whole housing here is wider than what the entire housing here is. I don't have my calipers out yet, so I don't know an exact number on that. But the blade is definitely a lot bigger. This is a 60 mil blade, and I believe this one's only a 53 or 51. I forget. I'll have to remeasure them. And the little fins on here are much more aggressive, just the way they protrude. Get it focused up here. It's hard to get the differences right here with this camera. When you look at it from the side, this is flat with a little lip here, and this one is, it sticks out quite a bit farther compared to the factory option. There's no neck right here like this one has, and it's kind of like a floating neck. This can move, but that gets pushed up tight once it's all put together. Yeah, this whole entire bearing assembly here looks to be in much better condition, much better design over the factory option. The housings look exactly identical side by side, minus a few little differences on the outside. There's this built-in silencer on the KO4, where this one has a bolt-in silencer option, but they're all necked the same way, pretty much all the same fittings. Now another big difference is the size of this hole right here on the induction side, coming from the filter, the cold air intake. This one is a much smoother interior. It's bored out a little bit more so than the other one, and it's a much smoother design, much more room for air to be moving through and getting to that turbo blade. And even looking down the charge pipe hole here, it's the same thing. It's more smooth. There's right here where this little PCV breather intrudes, it's all smooth here, all bored out, whereas this one has a big bump right here, and so all the air coming in has to make its way around that and then down into the induction side, and so it's a little bit bigger. It's bored out a little bit on this one. You can see that way better now. Right here, this has that little half, probably about half of that, not quite half, a quarter of that hole is being blocked off on that one versus that one straight through, a little bit bigger, higher flow, and the neck is a little bit bigger on the JHM turbo. This neck going into the charge pipe or the induction side is bigger on this one, and it's kind of hard to see because I already put everything on it, but you can definitely see that neck right there coming up to here is fatter than what that neck is on there. So same thing on the exhaust here. This design of the header is a much smoother design. You can see how this kind of like all just forms smoothly right into the propeller side on the exhaust. And on this factory one here, I have a factory turbo just sitting here, and it's kind of hard to see here, but it's not as smooth. This is dropped back farther, so the exhaust kind of has to curve back a little bit farther there, whereas this one, it's like it's tilted a little bit farther this way, and all of this collects much smoother into here. And same deal on the exhaust side. I'll have to get a flashlight. So on this exhaust housing side, right in here, it is much more smooth, much more direct flow from the turbine directly to the exhaust. Everything is smooth from, you know, from coming out of that turbine. Everything is smooth. It all flows very well. Really good design compared to the factory one right here. It's not as smooth coming out of there. It's kind of tucked up in there a little bit more. The blade's kind of tucked out of the way. You kind of have this arm right here that's blocking some of that exhaust flow, whereas right here on this one, it all comes out to the side, the arm's out of the way, a little bit of a different placement, and it looks much cleaner, much more direct flow. Also, this turbo blade here, this one doesn't stick out very far on the factory design compared to the upgraded design. This blade is a little bit taller here. You have these fins are obviously going to be taller, as well as these little fins. So you have most of this going directly into this housing here that's cut out for it, whereas this one is tucked back and you only have a small portion down here that can flow through around that big machined neck in there. But everything about the KO4R design I'm really liking. It's a really good looking turbo, and I believe it's going to be a durable one as well. I mean, the kit online, if you go buy this kit online with the tune and injectors and the whole 9 yards, you're going to be looking at around $2 grand just for the turbo, no injectors, none of that. You're going to be around $1,800 with the tune. So kind of pricey, but I mean, you can physically see the difference in the blades. The KO4R is a much bigger blade, much more aggressive design, billet aluminum, and it's got little cuts in there to help grab the air. So this thing should be whistling real good. That's the hope. Give it a lot more power, and hopefully the rods stay in the bottom end. Apparently it's designed to be run on factory
equipment. You don't need forged internals for it. But if I want to push some more power, JHM sells a bigger turbo kit than the KO4. They sell a TD05, I believe is what it's called. That thing's going to run you about $2,500 But it is a actually no, it's more than that. I think it's like $4,000. Really expensive kit, but that's going to get you into the 600 to 700 horsepower range with these 2 liters. I believe with this KO4 kit and their tune with a 6-speed manual, it's going to be making just about breaking 400, I believe. Now I did read in a forum where a guy had bought in this KO4R upgrade from JHM, and he had it installed on his car, and he said it was a lot more powerful and felt better compared to some of the other tunes that are on the market, like the APR and CTS turbo kit that you can buy for these cars. It's going to have more than enough power than what I need for the street. So although I can't find specific numbers online, I'm going to try to call JHM and see if I can get some specific horsepower numbers. I find it kind of odd that there's not any information about it. So I'll have to figure out what kind of power this thing can push, but I'm guessing it's going to be sub 400s. The KO4 and the Stage 3 tune doesn't seem to get more than 400. I mean, you're pretty lucky to break 400 with the 2 liter and that kind of setup without going farther in depth. And obviously with the B7 you're going to need injectors and a high pressure fuel pump upgrade, but I believe from what I've heard the B8 platform can withstand a Stage 3 tune with their stock injectors and high pressure fuel pump. So I'm going to get this thing all buttoned together and get on the phone with JHM and try to get something figured out with the tune and get that on the way. And then we'll be installing this and doing some more performance upgrades to the B8. So stay tuned for more episodes, and thanks for watching.